Hey guys, welcome to another session with the teacher. In today's video, I'm flying out the Me262 jet fighter in the Ruhr event. As you can see, this event does not have your typical matchmaking. Me163s are in alongside Ju-87s against P-51s and B-25s. But is this an unbalanced event? Absolutely not. As per usual, this event limits planes you can fly to planes that actually flew against each other. Well, how would this work? Wouldn't the full team of jets destroy the team of props with ease? Nope. Gaijin has done what players have suggested since the beginning of this game over 2 years ago. Balance teams with numbers, not with player skill. In this event, the team that has the jets only has about half the players of the team with props. For either side to win, it requires player skill and teamwork to overcome the advantages that the enemy has. So after climbing for about 5 minutes, I'm finally above the B-17s and I find one to engage. At this point, we have already lost 2 players to their 0, so our already small team is limited even further. I know I'm going to need to work extra hard to ensure that my teammates survive. You'll see me calling out targets and informing my team of my status a few times during this game. If you can do this for your team, given you speak the same language, you can be a massive help even if you're not the best pilot. I approach this B-17 from below and in the clouds, so if he's in manual gunner mode, he can't see me and therefore can't shoot me. I open fire and blow the tail off him, but my teammate was shooting at him at the same time, so he gets the kill. Fine by me, 1 threat down. As I was firing on the B-17, I didn't notice the red X that appeared on my radar. That turned out to be a P-51 just behind me, with equal energy to me. This was a problem. It's time for me to gain separation no matter how I do so. The speed advantage is the biggest advantage you have as a jet versus a prop. Make sure you have it at all times. I took a little hit there, and while it didn't bring up the paper doll, it still did damage to my wing, which resulted in slightly limited maneuverability. Not a good start to what will inevitably be a long battle. Fortunately, I managed to put enough distance between me and the P-51 to continue to fly. I have a decision to make now. Engage this P-51 at high altitude, where I perform my worst, with a negligible speed advantage, against a pilot who clearly knows what they're doing, or use my speed to look for targets down low and hope I drive the Mustang down with me. I decide for the second option. I dive to gain some energy, and I find 4 enemies attacking a friendly. I don't want to engage in this situation, there are just too many of them and they are in cloud cover, but I decide to take a crack at one anyways to try and get him off my friend's tail. I miss my shots, but the tactic works. I don't have much energy, so I decide to vacate the area. When you're zooming away, negative G dives tend to work best at shaking opponents' aim because not many people are used to aiming at targets pulling high-speed negative G maneuvers. As you can see, it just bounced right past his tracers. Here I was thinking of turning around and engaging my pursuers, but I spot the high P-51 and decide to do a reversal and then dive away. I take a crack at this P-51, but he ducks out of my line of fire. Now I have a general idea of where the enemy is. I have been watching enemies take out ground targets and seeing this information pop up on the bottom right of my screen. Due to the fact that most of these soft targets are at the A point, I decide to hit their necks. I'm hoping I can find someone in a low energy state and hit him with my 30 mils before he knows what hits him. Jet fighting versus props is the essence of boom and zoom. With better zoom, you have more opportunities to boom. The Spitfire has been dancing around shooting ground targets, so he has very little speed with which to maneuver with. I know that I can't miss the shot, so I hold my fire to conserve ammo and guarantee a kill. With high caliber guns, fire in short bursts to ensure that you hit as well as adjust your aim. Remember, it only takes 1 or 2 hits to blow a plane out of the sky. I do a vertical reversal and prepare for a slashing attack on the B-25. In this case, I didn't want to get close to him like I would with the fighter because of his defensive gunners. I fire from 500 meters away instead of 200. Because of the 30mm bullet drop, I didn't take enough lead into account and missed all my shots. That's fine, there's a P-51 who has also been ground and pounding. He turns around and gives me a deflection shot. I know that was the best opportunity I'd have to take him out, so I gave it a little extra lead and held down the trigger for longer than I did on the Spitfire. Now his friends have been alerted to my presence and are moving in as a group towards me. Smart move by them. If they had come at me one at a time, I would have been able to deal with them individually. So I decided not to get greedy. 2 kills is enough for now. Now, at this point, our already bad team situation has gotten far worse. We've lost 2 of our 5 262s, and our 163 is about to crash. That means that there are 3 players left on our team, versus about 8 or 9 of theirs. Not good odds. Even worse is the fact that they are vulturing the airfield to catch us if we have to rearm or repair. So we're going to have to fight them. But we're going to have to fight them smart. For the record, I have no problem with the prop strafing jets as long as they land or take off. This is how most 262s were lost in the war. However, if a team is smart and covers each other while they are landing, vulturing is not a problem. But in our case, there was just too many of them to try and hold off our airfield. I checked the scoreboard again, and yep, it's 3v9 still. Not counting one bomber, because he's the B-25. I know failure is pretty likely, but I sure as hell am not going to die without a fight. And even sure, I'm not going to run and let my tickets run out in order to avoid combat and generally piss off the enemy team. Have some respect for other people. I dodge the P-47's attack as he breaks through the clouds and do another risky fake head-on against the P-47. This was a risky move, and looking back, I wouldn't have done it if I had to again. It also wasted precious ammo that I had no way of resupplying. If you learn one thing from this video, don't be like me here. The P-47 can't see my movement through the clouds, so I pull a spiraling maneuver to keep myself out of his crosshairs. I move to engage the P-47, but our 262 makes the same mistake I almost made and pays for it with his life. And ultimately mine. Now it's 2v7. The P-47 sprays at long range at me and I'm forced to evade. As I fly toward my base, I realize just how many players I'm going against. And these guys aren't dummies. So far, they've been one of the best American teams I've ever fought against. As I fly towards my base, I stick low to the ground to throw off their aim and keep my speed up. I've learned my lesson from before, and I only do a quick snapshot on this P-51 before pulling out of his gun range. However, I see tracers whizzing dangerously close to my cockpit, and I'm forced to maneuver and dive again. Here I am preparing to return to battle by exchanging my speed for altitude. Notice how I'm not just staying in the straight line until all the bad guys give up. I want to fight, and if it means dying, then so be it. I'll sacrifice my virtual life before I sacrifice my virtual honor. I'm going to skip ahead here because it's just me returning to the area near A. Alright, so now we're back to the battle zone. Things still look grim, but one of our 262s is about to go down shortly, and the other is low on ammo. I know it's up to me to get the frags if we want any chance of winning this. I stick to my teammate because I notice he's ducking and jinking, and sure enough he has a P-51 on him. He dives out of gun range, so I take a short burst and a P-51 flying past, but I didn't give it enough lead. I go purely in the vertical to set up to execute the P-51 as he stalls out, but this P-51 is having engine troubles, so he's unable to climb with me. I lost him in the clouds then.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
I regain sight of it, then see the smoke billowing out of his engine. I decide to focus my attention on the P-51 now diving straight at me. At this point, I build up a lot of speed, so I take him into a vertical rope-a-dope. But he wants none of it, so he turns away to regain altitude. Now I spot a P-51 lower than me with low energy. I move to intercept, and he tries to force a head-on, but I've learned my lesson, and I stand on the elevators and take the fight into the vertical. I know he'll outturn me, but he's out of energy, and I know he won't be able to get guns on target. He stalls out just as I roll around him, and I position myself for attack. Here, I could have had him if my crew was upgraded and I had my stamina maxed, but my pilot got tired during the heat of battle and was unable to pull enough lead. I see the same high P-51 as before, and rather than prolong my fight any further, I point my nose down and bug out. I distance myself from the two high targets and get some speed back. But then, good news, finally. The Mustang with the damaged engine from earlier is limping back to base. An easy target, guaranteed to help turn these overwhelming odds in my favor. Again, wait until it's impossible to miss in mid-fire. There's no sense wasting ammo on an easy kill. Now here you could say I'm running away, but I'm actually gaining separation. That P-51 is blocking the path between me and my home base, so he's gotta be taken out. At this time we've managed to do the unthinkable. A 2v7 is now a 2v4. Problem is, I'm low on ammo and fuel, and 4 of those players stand between me and my victory. I'm communicating with my teammate here to tell him just how bad my situation is, and for him to clear the runway for me if possible. I use my speed to shoot up into the sky to prepare for the props. By some miracle, our critically damaged 262 managed to land his crippled plane in the meantime.
The enemy is winning. We've got to counterattack.
I'm in a much higher energy state than he is, so I don't really have any worries about him reaching me. P-51 then does the most critical error a prop can make when facing a jet. He stalls out to try for a shot. I take it purely in the vertical and wait for the perfect moment to strike. Now here's where that 50 cal hit from earlier comes into play. Due to the lack of lift my wing is generating, I'm unable to perform my hammerhead quickly, and I lose the P-51 in the clouds. As a result of this wing damage, I'm unable to pull a good angle to get a shot on the Mustang. I would continue my patient boom and zoom attack, but I realize I only have a few minutes of fuel before I'm done for. To make matters worse, a P-47 zooms up to join the fight. Again, I take it into the vertical. I stall my plane out. I start aiming for a shot on his. And this is where the wing damage and lack of stamina points kick in. I miss my shots, and that was one shot I could not afford to miss. I dive away to gain speed and distance from them. I'm still in this fight, but the advantage I had before, it's gone. Now at this point, the last 262 is dead. It's just me. I've only got about a second worth of ammo left. I gotta make this count. I take one final shot and my ammo's out. Now I'd like to say I fought the good fight, that I returned to base unscathed and rearmed and repaired and beat the odds in the 4v1. You know what? War Thunder ain't no fairy tale. Thanks for watching.